Welcome back. Tonight, we're going to do an in-depth tutorial utilizing Google Stitch, and we're going to vibe code a CRM. So let's get started. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to go into stitch.withgoogle.com. Just use your normal Google login, and you'll come up to this chat window. We're going to say, create us a nice clean CRM with companies, contacts, and to-dos, and they're all connected to one another. And we are going to also say, do this in dark mode, okay? And let's see what it looks like. We'll keep it very simple. Now, the first thing that you'll want to notice down here, it says 3.0 Flash. I always switch this to thinking with 3 Pro, and then go ahead and run this. And while that's running, let me show you a project that I've already done. And we've done that in the white mode. So we'll go back to go to all projects. We'll come down here to CRM contact list. And this is something that I've already created, just like the other project, just a nice, clean, modern design. Let's zoom in and show you a couple of things here. You pan around, just grab the hand. There you go. And so I worked on this one earlier so that you guys wouldn't have to sit and wait. But essentially what we've done is we've created a contacts, a tasks, and a companies page. At the bottom, we have these nice clean menus right here. And now let me walk you through some of the different capabilities that you can do within Google Stitch. I've done some really great systems over the last few weeks with the new Google Stitch. It's fantastic because what I'd like to do is build my UI in here, and then it makes the vibe coding so fast. I just copy it out. I take it over to Gemini. I tell Gemini to write me a prompt for Claude code. And I said, get very detailed on it, utilize these screens, ask me any questions you have, and it builds a great prompt that then I go copy this image and that prompt into Claude code, and it builds it almost every time. I get a one shot, which is just almost perfect. All I'm doing is tweaking it. So let's go through some of the different options that this has so that you guys can see it as well. So some of the neatest things that it can do is you can come up here and you can highlight, let's say all 3 of these windows, right? So let's go ahead and highlight all 3 of these. And then we come down here and we can either do a prototype, right? And I'll show you what that is in 1 second. A prototype is, let me show you right now. A prototype is right over here. And all it does is it shows you kind of what the app would look like, where you can do a little interact, right? Click on it, click on the different menu items, click tasks. It's not actually a vibe-coded app, but it puts together all the screens nicely and just gives you, not quite an MVP, which is a minimal viable project, but it gives you, a nice way to look at it without building the entire thing in vibe code. So now let's go pan over and let's look what else you can do. We can also highlight all 3. And then what you can do over here is you can click the more. And this is a new thing called export. And this has got a really cool feature to it. And let me show you. You do the export, and right here, you can export it to AI Studio. So this will vibe code it within Google for you. So you can say, make this real. Okay. And then you can say, I could have tabbed right there, by the way. And then you say, build an AI Studio, right? When we come back, we'll say build. All right. So this is going to process and build it. And then I did one earlier. I told it to build it. And I said, now you go preview. There's your code. All right. There you go. And this is what it'll do. It'll build it for you. And there you go, a functioning model. Now this is an MVP if you ask me. So there you go. This is pretty cool. You can switch it to dark mode, right there. Look at that, pretty cool. So that is the feature called export. And all we're going to do there, once again, that was export to AI Studio. And then you write your prompt in here. You can also export it as a zip. That'll give you like a PNG file as well as a HTML, so you could also copy that over to Claude Code. But let's take a look at some of the other options that you have. Some of the other nice options here you can do is you can highlight one of these, and we can go in here and you can annotate on it, which that to me was a little bit buggy, where I was actually documenting it. But, we're getting very close. The difference between this and Figma for mostly, as far as I'm concerned, is the annotation right now, whereas if you're working on a team, but normally I work on all this stuff myself. So the annotation isn't that important to me. And the price point on Google Stitch is fabulous because it's free right now. It's in beta and you get like 600 changes a day. So I never, go over my 600 change allotment here. Some of the other neat things here is you got show and QR code. What that does is it'll build the screen in QR code and you highlight it with your cell phone and it'll show you what it'll look like on your mobile. You can switch it to tablet, desktop, right? Here, let's look at some of the more. We've already went over the export, downloads the same thing. It downloads it into a zip file. So, and then another thing that this does pretty cool is some variations. And what's neat about this is when you click on variations, you can say, I want 5 different screens and I want to look at the font text, right? Text font right here. Or you could do layout, text font, whatever you want. Let's do layout. Okay. Let's look at 5 different ones and that's highlighted. So we'll do generate variations. And this is going to run for a few minutes. Right here, it's creating all the variations for you. Now, another thing that you can do is you can also highlight the item that you want to change, right? So what you do here is you highlight it, click it there, and now you got this chat prompt in the bottom left corner. You go over here to the chat prompt. By the way, make sure you're on the 3 Pro. I've seen it, you get just better responses. And let's say we want to add, move the hamburger button and the plus sign, right? So we'll just say switch hamburger button and the plus sign. Okay. And let's see if that does that. Okay. We'll go at generate. So that should just flip flop those two. So now this is already done, by the way. So here's some of the different options it's given us. Looks like, let's zoom out a little bit so we can see these a little bit better. Okay. Pan over. And we've got some of them already created here. So as you can see these are our bigger widget looking contacts here. And then this one added looks like a, alphabetical based off of, it's going off a first name. So I'd probably prefer that last name, but now it's doing 3 more of those. Another neat function that this does have is you can do, go down here and tie in a website URL. And so my website's Jez Digital. So you type in www.jezdigital, right? You hit enter here and you can say, recreate these screens, but utilize my colors from my website, right? And if you look down here, I've already done that for you guys. And right down here, you can see my colors are orange and blue. And it's basically redone the UI for me and created it with my color scheme, right? So that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other menu options that we have up here. So variations is nice. You get some really quick edits. You can do, let's see, we already went over annotations. Regenerate, kind of got to be careful with that because it just gives you a whole new one. I'd rather get to the point where you're close and then you're just doing minor tweaks to it. Okay, here we go. We got the other ones. Let's see what it did for this. Looks like it just did kind of a different font. I don't see a big difference there. Oh, this completely screwed up. I called that upcoming tasks, and that's just contacts. So that one, that's completely out of left field. All right, so let's, so it wasn't much of a variant. I mean, we could have told it change fonts. We could have said change the colors. We should gave it completely different variations. So let's click on some of the other down options over here in this hamburger menu. We already went over download project, duplicate project here. That's just a copy of the project. Copy and paste it. Here's the help. Let's see. Here you can rename the project if you want, and we'll call it CRM test, right? So there you go. If you don't like that, you can utilize this. So, and then to delete, all you gotta do is go over here, highlight the 5 that we just created, right click on it and choose delete. Okay. And then to drag some of the other ones over, all you have to do is you can either drag this one over to them, right? We'll pan over. Let's pan out a little bit here. Zoom out. Let's grab these 2 and pull them over. Okay, there we go. Now they're both highlighted. And now you'll notice the grid lines appear, so you can kind of make it look kind of nice there, right? So now let's zoom in. Okay, zoom in here. Okay, so let's pan over. Here we go. So now all I could do from here is do a nice screen capture. Okay, so with a Mac, that'd be Shift Command 3 to capture the whole screen if I'd like. There it goes. Gonna copy that to my desktop. Some other options here. Right now it's private to only to me. I can do a share. So if I want to share it with someone in my group, I could share it with them. It's just saying here, changes have been saved. Let's see, you got an automation to upload files to Canvas. I've found that I really need Canvas less with all these new tools they have, especially with this. And I've been doing my thumbnails with like Nano Banana, and it's been great. So let's go look at that other prompt that we've been doing. So if we go to back here to go to all projects, right? And we did a CRM context list. Here's the one that we just did and we left. Okay. So it's just, we did that in dark mode and you can see it looks pretty nice. Kind of looks very straightforward like the other one. And so we could either copy this, we could edit it, we could make changes to it. Or what we'll do is we'll go start vibe coding that one that we just copied. So to do that, what we're going to do first is we're going to go into Android Studio and we're going to build a new Flutter project, and we're going to choose next here. And we're just going to call this CRM. Okay. This is going to build this in a test folder that I've already created. All right. Let's choose create. This is going to build our folder structure for us. So right there, that's built. Now let's go into the terminal. Okay. And let's see, we're going to go change directory to test. All right. Change directory to CRM. Okay. So now I've already pre-written some Claude commands here. So under I created this program called TalkType. It does dictation software, but I also keep some of my favorite prompts in here. And so let's copy this over into here. And we're going to paste that. And all that does is it calls Claude, and it's in dangerously skip permissions mode. So it's not going to prompt me for all the changes. So right now we're in that CRM folder that we created within Flutter. So we're now in the root of that directory. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go back to where we were here and go back to Stitch. And we're going to open up Gemini. And I've already created a prompt. Basically what I told it to do was I said, I copied that screen share in there and I wrote a prompt that said, basically write a prompt for Claude Code based on the image, yada, 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 do a detailed report, right? And so it came back and it did this. So we're going to copy this now into Claude Code. This is going to be our prompt. So the first step that we did was we went into Google Stitch and we created the UI. And as you can see, it really takes longer nowadays to create the UIs and to test it than it does to actually code it. So now we're going to copy this prompt. Okay. We're going to copy the response. We're going to go back to Claude Code, right? And we're going to paste two things in here. We're going to paste that screenshot that we've done. Just drag and drop it. Okay. And then the second thing we're going to paste in is that prompt. Okay, there we go. All right. So it's probably going to ask me a couple questions I probably wasn't detailed enough on. I told it basically just do a local database on this. If I wanted to, I could attach to the Firebase on the back end and done some authentication there. Okay, so this is asking us some questions here. We'll tell it. Number one, I'm going to get back my talk type. Okay. I'm going to say, let's see. Number one, I want Android. Number two, SQLite. Number three, RiverPod. And number four, let's see. Just on number four, like you said on that first one, use plus placeholder initials only. That's fine. Let's see. We're not going to need any API keys for this. All right. So this dictation software, I just wrote it just using Flutter. I did another video on it if you'd like to see how to do that. It's just going to copy. I got tired of paying $15 a month. So let's close that. Okay, there we go. And so we answered those 5 questions. It should be out there now, and it shouldn't, I don't think, ask us any more questions. It's going to run through now, and it's going to build it all. We're going to see some errors. But while that's running, let's go back in here and look at a little bit more of this Google Stitch. So, okay, back on this. So, I did it the other day. I just did some, just futuristic planners using like a Jarvis to where, it looked like it was in the movie Iron Man. So that was kind of neat to play around with. I think what I'm going to do is a very detailed, like small business ERP system for my own company. And what that would entail would be basically having a bunch of these screens. And then I'm going to tie it into the backend database, which would probably be Firebase. I'll do it in. And I'll do a relational database like Postgres. And on that one, I'll use authentication, and I'll use Firebase authentication for that. And I'll probably set it up for multi-tenant. And what multi-tenant is if you ever set something up and you might sell it someday, you want to set it up for multi-tenant, because what that will do is it'll create like an org ID, right? So my company is Jez Digital, but maybe I've got another company. I used to own a real estate company called Strategy One Realty. And so org ID first would be, Strategy One Realty. And the other org ID would be for Jez Digital. And that would keep all that data separate. And so what I'm looking at building next is just a small business ERP. And what it'll have in it is like a CRM like this. I'm going to add some SOPs. I'm going to add invoices and expenses. And I'm going to leave it open so that in the future, as I grow, that I can add more people to it, have more users, and also add more systems. So that would take more of a relational database, because you want to tie your contacts to your companies, right? And you want your task items to be either tied to a company, a contact. Your invoices are going to be tied to a company or a contact, right? So for that, you'd need more of a relational database with like a Postgres. So I probably will use Google Cloud for that one, and Firebase. And the difference in the relational database and more of the NoSQL, which is the traditional, like a Firestore database, that is for more of like a flat structure where you just want just only the contacts, right? You don't need them linked to tasks, or you don't need them linked to contacts. Just a pretty straightforward. Probably over 50% of apps are pretty straightforward, and you're fine with just NoSQL. So one of the reasons I like Firebase is because it's got a generous free provision on it. So they really don't start charging you. And I already use Google Workspaces. So with that, I kind of already have the Google Gemini and the whole integration right there. So that's basically how I'd go about writing a larger program. So let's see how ours is done here in Terminal, see how it's going. Okay, so we're on step 3 here. So it looks like it's already created the UI screens and the widgets. It's updating the main Dart with the app shell. So main.dart is what Flutter calls the main file. So now to run this, we're going to have to end up going into Android Studio, and we're going to start an, let's see, we're going to start an Android emulator up, right? And so we'll see how that works right inside Android Studio. Android Studio is nice because if you get any errors, it'll show up at the bottom, and then you just copy those errors right over to Claude code here at the bottom, and it can fix it. So as that churns that out, so it looks like we've been running here for 4 minutes and 15 seconds. It's been running the plan. So as far as I did another video too on Cursor and versus Claude Code, and Claude Code, if you're going to stay within like Opus 4.5 and just code 4.5, which is all I do, I'd say your best bet's just to get Claude Code. I really love the planning features of Cursor. They're still top notch. They're still the best. But as far as like just pure coding, right now I just like Claude Code. They've got the new Sonnet 5 supposed to be coming out. There was rumor it was coming out today, but I would guess it's coming out this February. So that should be a lot cheaper model for people. So hopefully that's a step ahead and step in the right direction. So right now I'm on the $200 max plan. I'm probably going to bump that down to the $100 plan. I don't think I've ever gone over in a daily limit of the $100 plan. So I think next month I'll probably be bringing that down. But I love Google or the Claude Code. It's just fantastic. It does a great job. Let's go ahead and take a look now back at the stitch again and talk a little bit more about this. So as you can see here, if I wanted to make any of these changes, for example, you get the back arrows, you got the hamburger menus, right? So if I wanted to, I'd go click this and I see, I don't want the back arrow, I want a hamburger menu there, right? So you click it, you'll notice down here in the lower left, puts it right there. And you say, replace back arrow, right? With a hamburger menu. Okay. And let's, and what that'll do is you'll see that automatically pop up right here to the right of it, and it will make those changes for you. And normally it takes a couple minutes on that. So, which is a lot quicker than doing it myself or doing it inside Figma for me. So, let's see some of the other features here. We've already gone over basically, I think, just about everything here. Let's see. I think what we'll do. So it's actually, I think it's updating it. Tested it, found a couple bugs. So it looks like it's getting ready to run. So it's, let's see, the remaining issues are just info level warnings. Okay, so it found bugs, right? They're not errors. Okay, so now what we can do is go back into Android Studio. Okay, and then in Android Studio, let's go to Device Manager. And we're going to start up the Pixel 9 Pro here. All right. So, oh, that's an old program I had, right? So what we're going to do is get that emulator started. We might have to close that one. Running devices. Okay. Okay, so let's see if it's ready for us to run it. Okay, so let's hit tab here, run it with the emulator. Okay, so now that's going to fire that up. So hopefully it just automatically sees that we've got that open and it doesn't bug out here. So the first time that you run Flutter apps, I mean, it's a little bit slow, but once you push it out to production, it's pretty fast. So there you go. It exited with an error. So I was going to have to fix that. Okay. Let's see if I tell it here to run. Let me try to run it here instead, inside Android Studio. And I'm not sure if this is going to be a problem or not, if it'll know to reinstall the Flutter app. Oh, we're getting a few errors here. Okay, so that might have been a problem. Okay, so let's stop that. We're going to shut that down. Okay, so inside Android Studio, what I did to do that, I won't do a cold boot, but we're going to start it up. If it opens up again with that recipe app, okay, so good. So it cleared it. Okay, up here, we're going to choose the Pixel 9 Pro, and we'll try to run it, and let's see how it does. Okay, and now, there you go. Looks like it's trying to do it. Looks like it's doing it in both places. Okay, there we go. Look at that. So it's relatively close. Let me get this a little bit larger for you guys to see. Looks like I'm going to have it in here twice. Okay. We go full size on that. Okay. So, actually it's kind of dead on, oh, there you go. So it built all the subscreens as well. You can see there. That's pretty cool. I can delete the contact. I'll just choose X here, go back to the main screen. No, actually it was kind of dead on. Look at that. It put in some dummy data for us. This is great. Wow, look at that. Look at that. We'll change that. Save it. That's saving it out to the local database. Wow, that's pretty good. Oh, this is neat. It did a dark mode. I didn't even ask it. So let's try that. Let's see how that does. Nope. Dark mode don't work. So that's something you go back and you just tell Claude Code, hey, dark mode didn't work on that. Right? So got clear database. Look at that. Did the about screen for us. I didn't ask for that. That's nice. You got some to-do lists. Let's see that. I marked it down to completed. You can see that. Check that out. That was pretty good for a one shot. So, I'll tell you, companies like Salesforce, they're in trouble because this is just, we're in inning one of a 9-inning game, and you can already look at this. I mean, we one-shotted something that this would be, a fairly usable, a minimal viable project right here. And as you can see, it's pretty dead on. Look at this. So, we'll go back here, choose save. Let's add a new contact. We'll add me. Okay, Stan Jesenowski. Right. I'll just say that I'm a manager, and you can choose. Oh, look at that. Nice. Tied to the company. So as long as you put the company in first, right? Stan at Jazz Digital. All right. There you go. Hit save. Let's see where I am. Right there. So, would you take a look at that? So that's awesome. This really was just a compliment to Google Stitch. I mean, that's really what it was. Because, just to be able to talk through and build a UI like that, it's just amazing. And then with that, it built the databases based off of all those input fields, all off that UI creation from, Google Stitch. We're just light years ahead of where we were. So I appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Please like and subscribe down below, and let me know what you guys want me to program next in the comments, or we'll do a deep dive like this again. So, but we'll see you guys tomorrow night. I appreciate you tuning in and watching. Thank you. Have a good night. Bye-bye.